What's up, everybody? It's your main man, Eddie EM Performance, back again with another special guest for you guys tonight. And you're not going to miss this one because it's going to be awesome, awesome, awesome. Who do we got on? We got Josh. We got Fox Body Farm. We got Mr. White Stang, SN95. We got Robbie on. And we got Skitchy, I think it is. Is that Skitchy? What's going on, everybody? Rock and roll. So we have Derale Performance on tonight. We have Tom Longo, who's going to represent them tonight, talk about all their performance products, talk about the company and some of their amazing builds. So let's get them on and get rocking. Bam, bam, bam. Dom, what's up, buddy? We got Daniel hopping on, and we got Stick Shift Dude. Thanks for joining us. Let's get our guest on so we can get rocking and rolling. Let's see if he's on just yet. Give him just a moment. How's everybody doing on this wonderful night? Everyone's staying safe, wearing your masks and all that cool stuff. I know some of you are in your garages, working on your cars, or maybe just hanging out at your house. I do hope you all are remaining safe and your families are safe, and you're making, if you're stuck at home, make the best of it, man. Enjoy your family while you can. Get those projects done. Let's see where our guest is. Should be coming on in just a second. All right. And there he is. Perfect. Let's get him on. All right, let me send you your request. Boom. Tom Longo. So give it one moment.
Hey.
How are we doing, Tom?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Very, very, very good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched some of your shows, so I feel like I know you now.
Yeah, that's what this is about, man, and it's fantastic. I was saying last night, it's like I've made friends from my house. It's amazing.
Right. Yeah. That's what we have to do now. We're safe at home.
Exactly. How are things out your way? Where are you located?
LA. Yeah, we're in LA.
You're in LA. Awesome.
Yeah.
How are things out there for you guys? Pretty crazy still?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you watch the news, everything's crazy. But for us, we're still working. We're an essential business. So it's kind of nice. We get to still, we're still going to the office. The crew's still there. We're still, building stuff and shipping stuff. So it doesn't feel as, as isolation like most people. But, yeah, things have been going good. We've had a lot of rain in LA, and now it's, 93 today.
Ooh, lucky you. It's cold here today and it's rainy, so for us this is perfect.
Yeah.
Can't
complain.
Like you said,
can't complain here.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, that sounds like it's beautiful out there. And like you said earlier, is like a lot of people, I think a lot of our guests too, where they're at home, and some are working too, just like you said.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, it's like I said, it's a challenging times, but like I said, we'll all get through this together.
Yes. So what do you got in the background there? You're in the garage. You got perfect Wi-Fi, which excites me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I have actually a satellite Wi-Fi that we use at the office, and you can put them all over the house. So I've got several satellite hotspots, and I put one in the garage.
Nice. That's smart. Because some of and it is what it is. We always make the best of it. Some of them are tough. When you get in your garage, you sometimes lose that powerful signal. But it looks like we're going to be good to go tonight.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, so we'll go around later, obviously. But there's a 32 Highboy Roadster, SoCal Roadster.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, and then a 66 Mercury Cyclone GT, original GT car that we made into a NASCAR lookalike track car. So we'll go over some details on that a little bit later.
Awesome.
And then I have my old my old Marquee here that, if you can read it.
It says, Derale, welcome. EM Performance, that's awesome. That's fantastic, man.
So that was a little story behind that. Was when we were building, we had farm truck in the booth one year at SEMA.
Yep.
And we literally built a booth around farm truck, basically. We did a metal shed.
Yep.
And so it was a corrugated metal, all patinaed and everything, and we built this whole backdrop, and all the benches, the product displays were all like on seahorses, like wood seahorses, and
yep.
wood. Everything was retro, and then I found that Marquee online, and I bought it, and then we had the Marquee in there. We had so now it's in here. But it's kind of a cool piece.
That my name's on there. That just went.
Yeah, there you go.
So I wanted to say thank you so much. One, that you came on tonight, because obviously you guys are busy. You got a lot of things going on, with the company and stuff. So I want to say thank you first and foremost for coming on.
Welcome. You're welcome.
Excellent. And we'll get rocking and rolling, but what we'll do, Tom, you and I, we'll do our best to answer any questions that kind of pop up on the feed. There'll obviously be more for you, I'm thinking. But we'll do our best as we kind of go through the things that we talked about and the questions that I kind of jotted down for us.
Right. Yeah, perfect.
Awesome. Cool. We'll start with the initial question. Tell us how the company started and how it originated, and how it became such an amazing company. Because, as I said earlier, I'm very happy with the products that I have in my car.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's quite the story. But my family started in the 50s, really in the 40s as chrome, doing chrome plating in Chicago, and it was just a chrome plating business. My grandfather with his brother, and they ended up, coming out here to a rose parade of all things, right? And it was 70 degrees and sunny in January. Yeah. And my grandfather said, we're moving. So he went back, sold everything, and moved to California, but didn't even have a business, didn't have anything, no home, nothing.
Wow.
And my dad tells the story of, we sat around. My dad graduated from high school, so he was 18 years old right then. He had some other siblings. And he says they sat around for a few months, and then he finally said, Dad, what are we doing? And so then they started looking, and they found a hard chrome plating business in East LA on Brooklyn Avenue.
Nice.
And so, but basically it was like a Quonset hut, but the business had been shut down, and they used to do prop shafts for airplanes. So it was narrow tanks that were real deep, because the long prop shafts.
Yeah.
So they ended up tearing the whole thing out and putting a chrome plating shop in. Well, over the years, over through the 50s, early 60s and stuff, they, kind of were chrome plating for other people, got into a different, I'll speed up the story because it does get long.
No, you're good. We want to know.
But yeah, they started chrome plating for other people, and they would not pay my grandfather, someone would owe him money, and he would just buy their business. And that's how we got into the automotive business. And so basically the chrome accessory business. So if you look at our competitors, we're Cal Custom, Mr. Gasket, Transdap, all those guys from the 60s, 70s, 80s. We had a company called CP Auto Products, which came from custom plating.
Yeah.
And so that business grew and grew. So if you look at like the three-legged jack stand that your grandfather had, we made most of those back in the day.
Wow.
So we manufactured those in our plant. And then we did valve covers, oil pans, all full gasket line. We did air cleaners, everything from wheel adapters, exhaust. Then back then in the 70s, we did a lot of van accessories, the windows.
I never did any of this stuff either.
Yeah. So long story short about that, my grandfather just grew and grew, and we ended up with 100,000 square feet in East LA on 5 acres as he just built the business. We still have machines that he bought in the 60s and 70s and 80s, and that manufacture parts today. So what happened was, in 1989, Derale, which was a company that we did business with, and they were into motorcycle coolers.
Oh.
And so you can find them if you do some searching, but they made motorcycle coolers and for 4-strokes. And basically, they wanted to get in the automotive stuff, so we were making coolers and flex fans, and then they were making, some of the other cooling stuff like fan clutches. And so they got into the electric fan market and tried to get in bigger.
Yeah.
And they weren't doing well financially, but they had gotten into super shops. And so super shops, 180 stores back then. It was just the happening hot rod shop, right?
Yeah,
to go for speed. And basically, they were going, kind of, I don't know about bankrupt, but they were hurting. So we ended up buying them in 1989. So the name Derale, which is Derale Lee, basically, came from this guy's. He was an engineer's 3 kids. Debbie was the DE, Rachel, and Lenny.
No way.
So, and that's where the name came from. And a lot of people ask that question.
That in a million years.
Right. So we basically bought the company in '89 and just kind of merged it. All the stuff that we were already doing with their line of cooling. Like I said, Super Shops was a customer, and back then, Summit was a tiny little customer.
Yep.
They weren't this big mega e-tailer at that point. So I was literally about 20, something like that, 1920, and my dad had, was building transmissions, and I went to UTI, Universal Technical Institute.
Great school.
In Phoenix, yeah. And my dad, I was building trans and working a trans shop. My dad said, hey, can you come back and run the company for me? Help me run the company. And that's when I came. It was about '88. Came right before the buy, and been there ever since. So so Derale, we've just kind of built the brand on higher quality, high performance, a quality cooling line, and it's really worked well. So recently, a few years back, we've merged with US Motorworks, so you'll find the US Motorworks name. And so US Motorworks is, a traditional business that primarily sells water pumps with fan clutches. So we sold them our fan clutch line in 1999 to go with their water pumps. And basically, then they got into timing kits and then fuel pumps. And so the symmetry between the companies really worked well because we had this performance line, and then you have like a Hayden who does more of a traditional, like you see at AutoZone or O'Reilly and Pep Boys and so on.
Yep.
Have the normal cooling accessories that you see in a retail store. And like I said, the symmetries were really good, and so it's worked out really well, and it's been able to get our product even into more places that we weren't, in before.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's worked real well, and like a Jasper engine and transmission. Jasper, obviously rebuilds engines and transmissions, but they put a cooler with every transmission, that they sell. Or I think it's an upgrade or a warranty that comes with it. Well, we provide that cooler to Jasper to sell with that transmission.
It was a nice partnership, basically.
Yeah, it's a great partnership. So the brand has just grown and grown. We have the same people that we've had for I've got one guy retired last year, 53 years with us.
Wow.
His brother just hit his 50th anniversary a month ago. And then we have lots of people in the 40s, 35s, 20, all the way down.
Wow.
So it's very...
People have been with you since the early times.
Right.
As long as those machines you were just talking about.
Right. So very loyal people, and it's a great place to work and a family environment, and that's I attribute that to why they stayed, right? But it's we really do love our employees and enjoy that relationship,
Yep. No, I love that. I think that's amazing about any company. If you have that family-owned feel, like customers can feel that, through the customer service, through the products that come out, all of that stuff.
Right. Yeah, and that's why Cam's here with his Mustang for the Mustang guys right there. So, but he's one of our lead tech guys. And we say that, he goes to the trade shows, the summit shows, and some of the other stuff. And, yeah, I mean, it's being involved and being personable and loving the industry, but also treating the customers like their friends, and that's what this is all about, being, having these friendships.
The relationships, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have to ask you, Tom, because it came to my mind. So you got out of UTI, and your dad said, "When you're done school, you're gonna come on board." What was that feeling like for you? Were you super excited about it, or did you already kind of have a?
No, that's the difference. He did not say come on board.
Oh,
He, I had, at that, we had originally. It's kind of my grandfather had retired, my uncle and my dad, and then my dad. There's 23 grandkids among 4 siblings, from my dad's siblings,
yep.
and basically there was a ton of people in the business back in the day in the 60s and 70s and 80s. Every cousin was there, worked through summers and spring breaks, but it just kind of weeded out, right, as people grew up, got older and got into their own things. In the 92, 93, we ended up buying my uncle out, who took our chrome plating business and moved it out to Arizona.
Oh.
So he continued chrome plating out there. But so then that dished off a few cousins, right? And my aunt's kids went kind of into the printing business and other businesses.
Yep.
One of my cousins is the owner of Futures Fins, surfboard fins.
Yep.
Yeah. Another one owns.
First.
Yeah. So he went off into the surfing side. Another one owns Stomp Grip, which is snowboard and motorcycle grip for seats and tanks and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you see some of the Stomp Grip around, but so through fruition, things kind of weeded out people. So at that time. My uncle was still there, and we were kind of thing, but there was no one. My brother was running sales for our CP line, which a national brand or worldwide brand.
Yep.
And so then we bought out my uncle, and that when the Derale thing happened, that I was after UTI. My dad had said had no intention of saying I was going to come back.
Yeah.
I was going to the transmission route, and I wanted to kind of see how that side went.
Yeah.
And but the Derale thing kind of brought me back in, and it's weird how things happen. It's just strange, because we had so many family members, and then through fruition, everything went. My brother and I then were kind of running the business, and then we had, we were taking it over, right? My dad was to that point where he was done with the mainstream stuff, and then unfortunately he passed away in a motorcycle accident in 2006. So as things happened, it just ended up was just me.
Yeah.
So so I ended up just holding the whole bag. But it's worked out really well, and we've done amazing.
Well, yeah, you're doing an amazing job. I'm sure you have a very amazing team behind you. With that. But congrats, and that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the whole gist of that side of the story.
That's awesome, man. Well, it never happens. This conversation will never happen for a lot of the viewers that are here. So I know a lot of people, including myself, will really appreciate this conversation because it allows us to know the company a little bit better. And then next, I was gonna talk about some of the products with you that you have available, or maybe we can talk about a handful of them that are popular, like the fans, the heat sinks, the tranny coolers, the inline fan controls, and I know you even on the website you even have some of the fuel pumps, but I think that might be with your partner company. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, but we do have some performance fuel pumps. Yeah. So that we put in the Derale brand. The traditional stuff, all the OE replacement stuff, is in the USNW Professional Series brand. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. If I may. The fans, I have the high output fans, and I love them, and I'll tell you why, because I found this out kind of the hard way, that specific fan setup is great for regular applications and then boost applications.
Yeah.
With extreme heat.
Yeah. So we, the way we design our fans, right? We design them so they're a little bit of overkill. So in the major application, where you really need it, it's there. But in most applications, it doesn't need it all, right? but we build it so that it's there if you need it, right? So we can, walk around. I'll show you on the Cyclone.
Yeah.
We can see some dual fans and how we set it up. That might be kind of cool.
Yeah, I'd love that'd be fantastic. I think a couple people are like, "Can we walk around the shop?" I'm like, "Slow down."
So so this is the Cyclone. We'll kind of walk through a little bit in a minute, but
Cool.
yeah. So I bought this car as it was a California car,
Yeah.
and kind of just been parked for many years, and we decided, it's like, what are we going to do with this car? Do we want to bring it back to a Cyclone glory? It was kind of pretty far gone, and we said, let's do something that we can show off a lot of product, and basically, track it and drive it and get out there and use it and show people how the product works and all that. So what
Tom,
we did.
That car looks so fun. It's ridiculous.
Thank you. So you can kind of see the dual fans here. I'll get in here.
Yep. Wow.
So basically, but we did a little bit more incorporating with this one, but we wanted to use product. This is an exact product that you can buy off the shelf. It wasn't just, we did the core support and stuff here. So we took out the core support and we put a tube chassis in, right?
Yep.
So we put a tube chassis. We made it removable. I don't know if you can see that, but we made this whole front piece removable so you can pull the engine out real easy. But we were able to push the radiator forward by doing this, by creating this out here where we could bring it out, right?
That's awesome.
So, so this particular one, again, is the exact model that someone could buy. Sorry, the angles aren't very good here with this. But someone could actually buy it. So you can see how the fans are inset inside the shroud. That's one of the keys, right? A lot of people mount the electric fans just on the top of the shroud.
Right.
Well, the integration into the shroud is huge for the amount of airflow you can get.
Yep.
So that's why you'll see them, that they're very flush to the front, right? And most of the blade is inside the shroud. So that way we can pull the maximum amount of air across that fan or across that radiator.
Hey, Tom, just so the viewers know, because I have that exact same setup. What is the CFM on that high output again?
So these are 4,000 CFM. So on this particular model, you can buy them with or without a PWM. So this is a this is a PWM fan controller.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about what a PWM fan controller does. I'll just flip it back real quick. So, a PWM fan controller actually controls the fans with pulse width modulation, right? But the beauty to it is because this is 4,000 CFM, and maybe you don't need 4,000 CFM all the time. So when electric fans come on most vehicles, right, you hear this very loud, most street cars, is you hear this big loud electric fan, right, come on full speed, right?
Yep.
What the PWM controller does, if not everybody knows, is that it comes on with soft start technology. So it ramps up from 0 to 100%, but not 100%. It only will run at the speed that you need.
That's awesome.
If you only need 40% to cool the motor, it will only run 40%. And in this particular case, it's running both fans, right? So this PWM controller will control up to 70 amps. So it could be 3 fans if they were under 70 amp, right?
Yeah.
And so the fans will literally come on soft start, so they'll just slowly ramp up and come up to speed. Again, if the air conditioning comes on, they'll come on to 60%. And then if you need more than 60% when the air conditioning is on, they'll ramp up even more, up to 100% if you need it.
We had a question for you.
Sure.
Are they all universal, or do they sell direct bolt-on for the Fox body?
We don't do a direct bolt-on, but we have a part number that works really well for the Fox body.
And that's the one I think that I did, Tom. So.
Yeah, so we'll get you that part number too.
Yep.
That's one thing. So we don't do a lot of direct fit kits, but we do one for this Jeep here. We do a direct fit kit for that Jeep, but most of the kits are universal because we sell so many different genres of applications.
Well, I can vouch that the Fox body one, because I installed mine, was very easy.
Yeah. Yeah, very simple to install. The brackets that we provide are very universal. Like I said, everything's pretty simple.
Yep.
And again, you can modify as much as you want. Like we did, we built this, the core support cover so that it looked a little nicer, but you don't have to, of course.
Right. I really like the fact that you guys have the technology that allows someone that doesn't have a heavily modified car that they can use to set up, and then someone that might have like twin turbos or something crazy, they can run that same setup.
Exactly. Yeah, literally, they could run the exact same fans that you would run on your car.
I love it. That is such a nice build.
Yeah, I guess kind of look inside. So
Yeah.
so we used we tube chassis, we frame connected the whole car, built the dash from scratch. That eyebrow and Stuart Warner gave us gauges and stuff. Put a 5-speed Richmond transmission in it.
Yeah.
And then built the center console, all aluminum paneled. And then we, like this is the electrical system back here, which you can kind of see Odyssey battery, but that's our, that's our wiring.
It's very clean, I'll say that much.
Yeah, thank you. And then there's an aluminum panel that covers that whole electrical system. It's just off right now because I'm working on the fuel pump. But yeah, we moved the fenders on this one. Yep. So we actually cut the fenders and moved them up on the front and the rear.
Nice.
So we're running 15-inch NASCAR wheels, Bassett's, with Willwood brakes, and we were able to get the biggest brake we could put on a 15-inch wheel. So they helped us with that. But again, this was a major build. It took, and we built it in the shop for the most part. We had a lot of help, of course, with the guys that work for us. We did most of the work, and then companies like Lothringer Engineering that builds off-road race cars.
Yep.
Here in California, he did the chassis frame connect and the headers, exhaust system. So you can see we built custom headers.
Oh yeah.
And they're tri-wide. Sorry, get in here. Yeah, so they're tri-wide.
Wow.
We even had to take the MagnaFlow mufflers and we had to cut them in half and then section them out and then make them smaller.
Tom, a couple people said that they've actually saw the car in person and that the video doesn't do it justice. Where this year, possibly down the road, will you have this car for viewing?
Yeah, this year, and who knows, right? Because we don't know where we're going to be. But yeah, I mean, I think it's there was obviously plans have changed and things like that. We wanted to do the power tour, but that's not going to happen this year. But I think the goal for this year is we're going to redoing the fuel pump, and we've got a few little bugs to work out of it, and then we're going to be on the road. So we're going to be driving. It's street legal.
Wow, come on.
Yeah, it's completely street legal if you can believe it. Those electric windows, I put electric windows in it. Yeah, it's going to be funny going down the street,
I'm pretty sure if I saw that rolling down the street, my neck would break.
Yeah, the cops might not like it, but it's street legal. Yeah, so so we can go back to the front in a minute, but like this has got a full off-road race fuel cell from Harman Racing Cell. Yeah, and then we run pumps. Those are Satrab pumps that we run for the transmission and for the differential. Yeah.
Does this still have your Tom? Because I know you have the coolers.
Yeah. So basically, this is the coolers that run. This is the coolers that we run back there. I took them off because, like I said, we have this aluminum panel here covers the whole trunk area.
Awesome.
Once it's all set, and these coolers sit on screens and pull from the bottom. So we actually keep the coolers in the trunk. Here, you can grab one and kind of set it there. But this area here is all screened, right? And then when the cooler mounts, the cooler mounts in that area, and then there's two coolers on the aluminum panel here. and basically it's pulling air from outside through and then out, into the trunk.
Wow.
And it's fine because this trunk's not a sealed trunk, obviously, right?
Right. But that
So
airflow coming in there, that keeps everything cool.
yeah, so like one differential, one transmission, and so this is what we call our hypercool dual.
Yep.
And you can see two, twin 5-inch fans, right, with a stack plate cooler. And so this cooler could be used for, again, engine, transmission, differential, fuel. We sell a lot for fuel. And so this little thermostat here, so this is what we call an inline thermostat.
Yep.
And what that does is we hook our fan wires to it. We have one here, one goes to power, and then one goes to the fans. And it's just a snap switch. And basically, at 180 degrees, it turns on the electric fans.
That's awesome. Is that something new, Tom? Because I saw that today.
Yeah, no, we've had that for years. I developed that back in the late 90s, I think, for Volkswagen applications. Yeah, at least.
Where have I been?
Yeah. And so basically, yeah, so, this is a great cooler, great for transmissions, great for engines, like I said, depending on the application. We run these on my brother's off-road race car. We've run them for engine. We've run them for even power steering. So you'll see this in a lot of applications.
Thinking you could also do it for an oil. Could you do oil cooler as well?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So any of those 5 fluids, right? Engine, transmission, power steering, fuel, and differential, they'll work perfectly.
Wow.
Yeah. So, it's so those are the coolers back here. We can go to the front.
Yep.
This is this is the fill tube that goes in here. It's kind of a cool setup that we did. But that's where, if you can see that's where that goes, and that's where we fill the fuel in the trunk here, and then that tube runs to the actual tank.
Wow.
Yeah, to the actual tank there. So it's really cool when it's all put together.
Simple and clean and functional.
Right. So what we did is so this cooler here see that cooler there? That's a stack plate cooler as well.
Yep.
And we're running, that's with no fan, and because it's up here in the front, and we're running that on for engine oil.
Okay.
So on that side, so we have a matching one on the other side that we're running for power steering, and this is the same cooler that we run on our direct fit Mustang kit, the GT kit.
Okay.
So,
perfect.
Yeah. So over here we've got, you can see from the front, with our aluminum bracket kit into the grill, and then so it's the same thing, running, for power steering. And this is our power steering reservoir. And if you haven't seen that, this comes from the off-road market. But see that it's got a filter, oil filter, basically, right, on the bottom of the power steering reservoir.
Wow. And that's universal?
Yeah, this is a universal reservoir for power steering.
That is so cool. I know a lot of people right now are loving that piece.
Yeah. So, so you can kind of see the fan a little better. But we also did filter mount. Some of our filter mounts just for remote. This one doesn't have it on this car, but a remote filter mounts. For your oil filter, so you don't take it off from the bottom of the engine and put it up, on a firewall or fender well. We saw a lot of remote filters.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Tom, on the driver's side, the cooler there, does it come with the aluminum bracket?
No, the brackets are sold separately because we have so many different coolers, right? So those will work on a 10 row all the way up to our 40 row.
Okay, cool. But you do have them to purchase, though.
Yeah. So if you look over here, so this is the full setup Mustang kit, right?
Yes.
So basically, one side is engine, one side is transmission. Right side on this is engine, the left side would be transmission. The kits, if you look at the kit behind, so the transmission cooler you could buy separately, or you can buy the engine oil cooler separately. They don't have to buy as one kit.
Oh.
But the cool thing about the way we did this is it uses our regular universal aluminum brackets, right?
Yep.
And our regular 16-row coolers. And this little bracket here is the direct fit bracket for the Mustang.
Wow.
So
that is a nice, clean little setup.
So if you come and look, we'll get a little bit of light here.
Yeah.
You know, you can see down there, there's the cooler. So he'll shine some light on it, but if you can see him, yeah. So
and it's getting all the airflow right there.
Yeah, so we put it, that bolts to the crash bar. Let's see if I can see here. Yeah. So it's up too high, but you can see that bracket there, right?
Yeah.
And then the brackets on the other side, those are going to the crash bar. And those coolers, oops, too high. Those coolers are just right in that grill front.
Wow, how easy is that?
Yeah, and it's again a direct fit kit that literally, oh, here's Cam. Sorry, literally can tell you, you know, I mean, realistically, let's say he's going to do a transmission only. How long is it going to take him to put that in? The hardest part is taking off the bumper skin.
Yeah, that's always the hardest part, with especially any painted part. But I mean, even with researching and testing, we had it done in 4 hours, and that's with making the hoses. But everyone will be getting them already done. So as long as you're comfortable with yourself and can follow printed directions, it would probably be 2 to 3 hours tops.
And the directions are real thorough. It's pictures and stuff. But one thing I'll show you, it comes with braided lines. Sorry, I get a little lost. So as you can see, these full, you know, black braided lines. These are the soft braided lines. They're not the hard metal stainless ones.
Easy to work with.
Yeah, and so you can see that they have you know, an AN fitting on it. So it's black anodized AN fittings. Yep. The soft, you know, braided lines.
Yep.
And then this is the sandwich adapter. So basically, so a sandwich adapter, you know, obviously this ring here goes to where you take the oil filter off.
Yep.
This bolts up where the oil filter was, and then the oil filter screws onto the bottom side. Right? Does that make sense, or do we need to explain? Yeah. Yeah. So
I think you're good. No one has asked a question just yet.
Yeah.
I think they're in awe right now.
Yeah. So we could get, if someone wants a little bit more detail, we can get an oil filter and kind of visualize it. But basically, it's fairly simple. It's just sandwiches between the oil filter, right? This goes, the engine's over here. You can't, sorry, I lose myself. The engine's here. This sandwiches between the oil filter. And that gives us our ports to run to our cooler.
Yep.
Right?
And so as the oil flows through the cooler, the wind is keeping that oil cool, which goes back to your engine block. Correct.
And, you know, a lot of people don't realize that the engine oil does get hot. You know, everybody thinks of the radiator, you know, fluid as being hot, but the engine oil gets hot too. And it can help, obviously, with your water temperatures. So we've done, you know, we do a lot of engine oil coolers. But again, the transmission one comes with also braided lines, same thing. So when the kit's done, this one here, yeah, I think they're inside. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it comes with the braided lines as well. But all the kit, you know, it's everything you need to put it in. You know, there's nothing else that you would need to, you know, to buy after. Even the zip ties to hold the lines.
I tell you what, you guys do an amazing job at putting the kits together. And I know we're talking about the coolers, but guys and girls who are on there, the fan kits, all the other kits, they come like this, ready for you to put in your car if you're having it installed.
Yeah. Yeah, so like the direct fit Jeep, just to kind of show you a single fan. See if you can see this here. But so that's a direct fit Jeep kit right here. Tell me if you can see it okay. But, you know, so this is a single fan shroud that a lot of older Mustangs and stuff have the tiny radiators. You know, that's what we run, is we run a single fan, right?
That's a great one.
Yeah, so this is a direct fit, same thing, bolt in, comes with brackets that hold the reservoir, also the power steering reservoir on some models. And so pretty simple. This one also has, I don't know if we can see it, but it's got a cooler right there. That's a direct fit kit too. It's got that tube chassis.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So it bolts onto the frame, and it's a tube chassis, and basically, again, comes with every single thing that we need for the Jeep to install. Over here, you know, the JK, we do a power steering cooler that mounts in the grill. And again, it's very simple. That one's a really easy kit. But I know, like I said, we're talking Mustangs and Fords and stuff here today to do.
That's okay.
But,
They get it.
Yeah.
So that single fan setup. Now we basically, for the Fox body guys out there, and obviously Mustang, you technically have two options. You can go dual fans. That's what I'm running in mine, and then you can decide you can do single fan if you want to, right, Tom?
Right. A lot of the applications, a lot of the shrouds we build, not, I wouldn't say a lot, but there's several models that are the exact same outside diameter, but they have one with a single fan and one with a dual fan, but it's the same shroud diameter. So there is.
Nope, Scott, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying. So there is options there if someone. And then again, there's a lot of radiators that you don't need the dual, and the radiator's small. You run a single, it's more than enough. I mean, even on this car, we run a single. You know.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So this just runs I mean, obviously the radiator's real small, but this is, the small block stays perfectly cool with one single electric fan.
We had someone ask Tom, how long is the cooler setup, the two small ones? What's the length on that?
Oh, okay. There's a tape measure. He'll grab a tape measure real quick. We'll give exact length.
Somebody had asked on there.
The next one. Yep. Not a problem. So here we go. We're going to get an answer right now.
Awesome. We had Rob said they're the hurricane or tornado of fans, and I agree.
All in all, it's 31 and a half, and then
the coolers themselves without the bracket.
Yep.
It's 28 inches.
Yeah, so 28 inches bracket to bracket, 31 if you include the crash bar brackets.
Yeah, that's nothing. I think that answered his question. Yep.
Yeah, so we also, I should have brought one to put on the table, but so a car like this, so this, Pete Chaporis, I don't know if anybody knows who Pete Chaporis is, but very famous guy in the hot rod business. Him and his buddy Jake started Pete and Jake's back in the 60s. And they built cars like the California Kid that Martin Sheen drove in the movie The California Kid.
Yep.
And so Pete and Jake's went on forever, and then they ended up moving on, selling, and Pete with Alex Exidius, who just turned 98 last month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Alex Exidius is the original owner of SoCal Speed Shop. So he started in 1946.
Wow.
Yeah, he started a speed shop, and he has land speed records and stuff like that. So guys that, if you look up Alex Exidius and SoCal Speed Shop, there's a lot of cool stuff. He's got tons of really neat stories to tell, and so he's a legend. A legend for sure. He's one of the SEMA Hall of Famers. He worked at Peterson Museum for many, many years. Well, Pete Chaporis ended up going and reopening SoCal Speed Shop in the 2000s or something, early 2000s. And then they started building cars like this. So 32 Highboy. And so this one was built in 03. And